Lamada gompo jetsu jampe yanla chatse lo kangi lo chu jibni jinja nita namda rabza we dinye dungu nijin ziji niki tukar lekbam zin angda zipe zunjar mari muntum dunga jizir we 조조 군라 부지 다세 옌라 주주 양denzu 주다르 제조 뉴모 니로 레기 차주 주제지 마리 문세 두가 뉴구 니네 주제라지남 눈에 다신 사주 타르 윤된 루조 자세 두고 주다 주당 주니 현재 달르 문세 잠베 양라드 오마라바자나 디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디디 Omarapatana Omarapatana Tenden Jiki Chenrab Yi Dalu Timu Mun Barabzal Kadan Tenju Shunlu Tokpai Lodru Pope Nama Tsedu Su Kangze Tawar De Bam Chunze Driwar De Nayang Gunpo Jamyan Chenini Dengme Parayang Tongwar Shu. Okay, welcome to this class. Good morning and good evening to everyone. Okay, so we'll start with some letter identification. Um, this is just for fun, okay? Uh, Federico, what is this one?
So,
Do you remember what's the quality of this row?
low tone
Yes.
for all of them.
Yeah. And these two are like a little bit like cousins, these two and these two, except these two
Yes.
are higher and these two are lower.
Yep. It's not very clear for the third and fourth is medium tone or low tone, or it's hard to say.
This says
The
medium.
two, the
This
sixth
says,
row.
yeah, on the chart above it says medium, but personally I find this to be high when I listen to the speak. But on the chart it says medium.
But the two last, the third and fourth on the sixth row are medium.
The sixth and
Yeah,
fourth.
these guys. The last two.
These two?
The last two. Yeah.
I would say they're low, because this one is a high one. These are two the similar ones.
Yep.
But this is the low, I mean. So this is sa, low, sa.
Sa.
This means, do you remember what it means? It means
wasn't it earth, ground, something like this?
This one is earth, ground.
Oh, okay. Then sorry.
The high one, the sa.
Yeah. Okay, then I don't know, to be honest.
So this is a high, and this one is, it's like an up backwards E letter, a little bit. Sa.
And what is the meaning? Is there a meaning?
Yes, sa means to eat.
Oh, to eat. That's right. You related it with meat or flesh, which was one of the other letters.
Yeah, this one is flesh or meat. Yeah.
Flesh, right.
Yeah, exactly. So this is sha. Sha is to eat. I'm sorry, sha is meat. Sa is to eat.
Okay.
So one sentence, for example, could be nga sha sa kiyo. Kiyo is the first person conjugation in Tibetan. So I eat meat, it would be nga sha sa kiyo. And
Yeah, the first sentence.
yeah, I don't eat meat, you can say nga sha saki me. Me is a negation.
Huh.
But anyways, this is colloquial. But I think it works with we have three letters out of them with meaning, so I think it's a little bit useful. Okay, good, very good. I'll go now to Chris. Okay, Chris, what is this one?
Sha.
This one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, very good. Sen, what is this one?
Ra.
Ra. Good, very good. Do you know what it means, by the way?
No.
Yeah. Excuse me?
No, I'm not sure.
No. It means goat as the first syllable of goat.
Goat. Okay.
Also,
Ra.
racho
Okay.
racho means horns.
Raju. Okay.
There's in Tibetan philosophy there is some talk of the horns of the rabbit. I don't know if you maybe you have read this somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a racho.
Okay.
Okay. Bo, what is this one?
You are muted.
So this is ma. Ma.
Sorry,
is
that took a little while. My screen jumped through a strange thing. And now
Mhm.
I can't see what you're pointing at. So I've got either the thumbnails or the
Oh, okay.
some
It's
reason.
okay. We can try another one. No worries.
I'll
What about this one?
I still don't have it. I've sorry, I've memorized the first like 6 lines. Sorry, so first 5 lines of the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Memorized.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones, the vowel sounds I don't remember at all, so it's not worth testing me. But the first ones I can just tell you I do recognize all of them by sight.
Good.
I'm just having technical difficulties.
Yeah. In a way that's good, because the key is to, even if we're memorizing slowly, if we have at least half of them down or some of them down, slowly we can build up, you know. I
I
would
remember not by repetition. I remember by making a story. So I've only made a story for the first, like the first 5 lines.
maybe you can share because maybe that's a good method. Maybe other people also can benefit, you know. How do you do it?
Making stories to remember things or trigger your memory, it's best, I find, to use something that has a kind of emotional hook or something that is triggering to you. So some of those can actually be very personal and are not really
Okay, okay.
suitable for sharing.
Okay. Good, I understand.
Yeah.
But I think that's a technique that's very useful, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe other people might also try to use this. I think I know one, sometimes this is called also, there's another technique called the memory palace, which I recommend you guys can look online. Memory palace is similar to building a story, but in this case, if we all know our house or our room, so we can associate different things that we're trying to memorize with different objects inside our room. So, like again, there can be some kind of emotional association with the objects, and by means of that, as we go through the different items, we can recall that which we're trying to memorize. So I recommend this technique also. And also another one is free association. You guys can look it up. A free association is more like basically looking at the shape of the letter. For example, like in this case, this sa, and it looks like a backward E, somehow. And it looks like, to me, it looks like a little monster that is going to go and eat something with the tongue out, I don't know. That's just what comes to mind. So then, like, okay, this little monster with the tongue out is going to eat. That means to eat. And he says sa, because when you say sa, you open your mouth. I don't know. I'm just making this up, but you can make the silliest sometimes the better. So you can look up these techniques. Perhaps they might be useful, later on. Okay, now James, what about
Oh, I've got it now. Sorry.
good?
It's
Yeah, very
working
good.
again.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Different screen.
What is this one?
Ah,
This one?
ah.
This one is the last one. You can give it another shot.
Oh, I'm sorry. La.
La, yeah. Also, this one is a little bit slightly low toned. La, la, because la, it's that high pitch is for example, for lama. The la for lama is a high pitched
Okay.
la. La. This la means it means mountain pass, but usually the way it's mostly used is as a um it's a particle in Tibetan called ladun, which marks, in English is translated as at, in, on. It marks the location of a place or the receiver of the action. Like if I give you something, like I say, nga kailan la tigiyo." La is like marking you as the recipient of my action. So it's to you in this case. In English, it would be I give to you. So that's this. That is all over the place. I feel like this is one of the most used letters. So for sure, this one will be one of the first ones we will memorize as we start to read. Okay.
But it alone means mountain pass.
By itself, yeah, it means it's a mountain pass. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not, you won't see that word so much, but as a particle, you're gonna see it like all over the place, all over. Like if we just pick any prayer, we'll find a couple of them for sure. Yeah. So keep, what is this one?
That is ha.
Ha, very good. Very nice. Since you're so quick, I ask you one more. What is this
Okay.
one?
That one is ba.
Ba, yeah.
Ba.
Wow, very good. Very nice. What about this one?
That one is sha. Sha.
Yeah, this one is sha. This one is
Sha.
the other. Sha.
Sha.
Sha, yeah. It's very good.
Sha.
Actually, yeah, now it's very good. This is what we want to be able to read, that immediate recognition. That's excellent. But then now in your case, now that you have the shapes down more or less, I would recommend focusing on the pronunciation a little bit more.
Yeah, I've just been trying to memorize the characters, and I have
Yeah. But
not
that's
been
good.
focused on.
That's
Yeah.
that's excellent actually. I'm very happy. Now that the
Does that mean
shapes are
hat?
down. Hmm?
Does that mean hat?
Yeah.
Za.
Actually, the pronunciation is hat, but there is a little thing on the bottom which we will cover down here, but the sound is the same for hat. The sound is the same, but it almost looks the same. There's just like a tiny thing here that we will learn about later. Yeah, sha. Actually, hat is the full is shamo. Shamo. So in Tibetan, there is this other phenomenon which they're just very flexible. It's not like English that the words are more how to say, the words are not so, okay, this is the way you say them, period. Tibetan is a lot more flexible. Like they can drop the second half of the word and it still means the same thing, or like they have, for example, shamatha is shine, and Vipassana is laktong. So they can say shilak. It means shamatha and vipassana. So they take the first syllable of shine, the first syllable of laktong, and then they say shilak. So now it's shamatha and vipassana. So for example, in this union of shamatha and vipassana, the lamas say shilak is sunjuk or shilak sunjuk. Sunjuk is the union. So you hear shilak sunjuk. And they're saying shine tang laktok is sunjuk. So they, when you speak, when you listen to the Tibetans, especially when there's technical terms, there's this really common tendency to just fuse the letters. You drop the second half of it and fuse, and then it becomes. I mean, it's in a way it's easier to memorize. It's kind of a cool way. It's kind of a cool method, I think. But it can be a little bit confusing after you memorize a word and then they drop half of it, you know. Okay, so I just want to go over this once more. Gigu, what I did here is I underlined the sound of the vowel because each vowel name actually contains the sound in it. So Gigu is an E. Gigu, E. It makes, so this is E. So it's an A, Gigu, E. That's how we would spell it out loud. That's how we would jorlok it. A Gigu E. This is sharp Q. So this is an U. Sharp Q. Shap is the honorific word for foot. For example, we say Lame Shapla Chakselo, like I prostrate to the foot of the Lama, but it's a high level word. Oh, this is another thing I should mention. In Tibetan, we have this honorific language system. So for example, I mentioned that this word means to eat. So this means to eat regularly, like for us, like we're friends, so we can say to each other, "Oh, we eat, you eat." I can tell you, you eat. But if we were talking to the lama, we wouldn't say the lamas. Lamas, that's not considered proper in their culture because they have a higher level. It's not only like conjugation. For example, in Nepali or in Spanish, they conjugate it differently. It's the same verb which is conjugated differently. In Tibetan, it's a different word altogether. So for that, it would be ch, like ch it means to offer, like chopabul, ch. But in this case, it also means for the lama to eat the food or to. If you say lama, please eat, you say oh ch, and that's the equivalent of sa, but in it's called shesa in Tibetan. So we will see that, and that's actually how we distinguish a lot of the words later on. For example, sometimes if in Tibetan, classical Tibetan texts, we can see that sometimes the subject might be missing, but we can infer that they're talking about, for example, if we're doing a guru yoga practice, we can infer that the lama is, the lama is doing this because it's a shesa, it's a high level word, so we cannot do it. So we know, oh, the lama is doing this to us, or like the guru in the visualization, it says, oh, the guru dissolves, so it's a shesa. So just so you know, I don't want to throw all this information now at you, but I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. There is a system of speech which is called shesa, which is honorific. And there is a system that we would use amongst our friends which is just normal. Yeah. And by the way, in Nepali is worse. They have one that you also use for people, like for the dogs and the kids, one for your friends, one for people who you respect, and one for like the king and like the really high level people, you know. So Some languages are worse. Don't feel sad about learning Tibetan, okay? Okay. Sharp Q U sound. So we would say sharp Q U. That's the spelling out loud. Now Jengbu. Jengbu is the A sound. And Naro, which has the O. So we say Naro O for this. So for example, if we were to spell this, I'm just going to use this letter here, which we all know by now, Ka, the first letter of the alphabet. Ka is basically like saying A in English is the first letter of the alphabet. So for example, if you look at nowadays, nobody uses paper dictionaries anymore. Everybody's just using electronic. But if you were to look at a paper dictionary in Tibetan, everything is arranged in this order. So this will be, if you're looking for a letter that starts with this ka, then it would be in the first part of the dictionary. And sometimes also it has a meaning of primordial because it's the first letter. For example, maybe you guys have heard this word kadak. Dhak is purity. Dhak is spelled dha, ga, dhak. So kadhak means primordial purity. So this ka also sometimes can by itself can mean the first one because it's the first letter of the alphabet. Okay. So we're gonna take this ka, and if we were to spell it, we would say ka, giku, ki. So this ka with this giku on top becomes ki. We can say ka, shapkyu, ku. Ka, jembu, ke. And ka, naro, ko. That's how we would spell it out. And then we can do all sorts of combinations. So I recommend, if you guys want a little bit more practice, I would recommend you can just mix one letter with one vowel marking, and that way you start to learn how to combine them, to make all the different sounds or some of the different sounds that we would. For example, if we have this sa, which means earth, sa, giku, si, sa, shakyu, su, sha, jembu, se, sha, naro, so. So means tooth, by the way. So means tooth. And sa, shakyu, su means who in Tibetan, like who, WHO. Like who did this?
Again, and so the structure of those vowel pronunciations, first you say the consonant as it is, then you say it as, and then you say the name of the vowel, and then you go back to the original consonant, but as modified by the vowel. Is that the structure?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's cumulative, meaning that as we are having more complex words, because for example, a word may have more parts. I'm sorry, a syllable may have more parts. For example, like maybe it has a letter on the top and a letter on the bottom and a vowel, then it becomes cumulative. So for now, this is the straightforward because there's only two parts. So we say one part, second part, together.
Thank you.
Yeah. If there's any questions, just feel free to interrupt me. I want to make sure like everything is clear. So now, you guys can see my screen, right? Can you see this purple text? Yeah. So this is called actually a chuchu. Chuchu is basically every lineage has their own chuchu, which is some kind of a collection of prayers that everybody will do all the time. like all the regular prayers, like there is refuge, bodhicitta, like mandala offerings, like the prayers to Guru Rinpoche, the dedications, a few daily practices. So usually, for example, if we go to a puja, to a big ritual gathering, a tok, sometimes also it's called, actually in Tibetan it's called tok. Puja is a Hindi, Nepali, Sanskrit word. Usually we all have our chocha, which is this book. It looks like a thick Bible kind of. And then you have all your prayers there. And then on top of that, you have your text that you're practicing on that particular day. For example, if it's a Tara puja, like you have your chocha, which you do your beginning prayers there, then you go through your Tara, and then your manlam and all the dedications are also in the chocha. So just so you know, if you guys like this also, I can send you, but maybe no rush, I guess, for now. But after I can send you all these books I'm showing you. So this is a index of what's in the book, all the prayers, which there is a lot. This is a thick one.
So sorry,
Yes.
you asked us whether we see it, and it was not clear, at least to me, what you meant. And I said yes, but what we see is Giku, Shapku, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my question. Okay. So, good. Thank you for letting me know. Let me stop the share and share it again then. I think I have to individually show. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Federico.
you're welcome.
Okay. So this is this is the chuchu. Anyhow, so this is the main part, and then there is an index of all the prayers here. I just wanted to show you, for example, this is easy, right? Ye, ya, Drembu, ye. So this by itself, it means ya, and with the Drembu, it means ye. Ya, Drembu, ye. This one. So this says
I feel like I'm
ye.
going to ask the.
Yes.
Sorry. I feel like I'm going to ask the same question that Kit just asked.
It's okay.
But it doesn't change. So you still say the actual vowel, and then, or do you say like, would that just be yay and not
Yeah. So this
the
is,
actual?
you can think of it this way. There is 5 sounds. So originally the letter comes with a sound, just naturally. Without any symbols, there's an a, like ka, ga, nga, cha, cha, ja, nya. So when there is a vowel marker, that natural a disappears, and you take the tone of the vowel sound. In this case, ye. So if there was nothing up here, it would just be ya. Since we have this symbol, that a becomes that e sound. So this becomes ye. So the consonant, this is just the consonant, and the vowel marker changes the vowel tone. Is that clear? Is that okay, James?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah. Just ask, feel free to ask, because the more we repeat it, the more it's clear for everyone, you know. I think that's why I'm happy if you guys ask questions, because I feel that like it becomes more clear for everyone, you know.
So I have a question then, yeah, just following up on James. If we
Yes.
were just reading that with that ya with the drenbo above it, is it you would just articulate it as modified, or do you actually go, convert that consonant, that accented consonant into those 3 component pieces if you were stating it, reading it out loud?
Yeah, you would say yeah. First you give, because imagine we're having a debate and we don't know what year we're talking about. How do you spell that basically? You're trying to tell the other person this is how you spell it. So the way you do it is you, like if you're telling it to me, you would first, okay, yeah, Drembu, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's put my headphones on. I can hear you better with my headphones. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically the purpose of this is to tell somebody else without having to write it down. That's basically
see.
that's the whole purpose of this, and to learn the spelling to some extent. But to be honest, it seems to me that most Tibetans don't really know how to spell because it's not part of the curriculum. Generally, composition is not part of the curriculum taught in the schools, in the shedras, in the monastic systems, because in a way there is this way of thinking that who am I to compose, like versus Nagarjuna and Arya Sangha, and which I mean in a way it makes some sense, like there's this like monster composers, living like embodiments of wisdom, and then the Tibetan commentators themselves, like Longchenpa, Tsongkhapa, Sakya Pandita, like you read these texts and like one feels like, okay, like where am I going to compose, so there is no so much emphasis. I feel like in English if you go to college, you have to take your creative writing class and you have to write, and even if you're really bad, like still they make you write. In Tibetan it seems like, first of all, I heard there wasn't that much paper. It was really difficult to find paper in all Tibet, and ink, and this was really, I mean, I don't know exactly. This is what I heard. I wasn't there, but uh, composition was regarded for like really top-notch beings. So there's not so much emphasis in it. So I think that's why it's not common to know spelling, and even I don't know spelling. I've been doing some work typing Tibetan recently, so my spelling has gotten a little bit better, but I don't really spend a lot of time trying to. I don't see myself writing in Tibetan. I'm more worried about my spelling in English because more likely I will be translating from Tibetan into English. So I wouldn't like worry so much about the spelling, but this way of jot logging is useful for just to be able to communicate it. And I just want you guys to know that this exists. If we go over like every detail, we'll need like a very, very long class. Maybe we'll like a year or 2 years. So my goal here is to just expose you to know that these things exist and give you that, which is the key essentials to be able to read and understand, and how to use a dictionary, because what I want you guys to do is to learn, after learn how to spell, I want you to learn how to use a dictionary, and then you can figure out your own prayers. Then it's not that difficult, then slowly all the other parts will come together. Like you can zoom in if you like a particular aspect of Tibetan, you can go into it later, So that's Ye, Ya, Jembu, Ye. If we have this by itself, can maybe Federico, can you tell me what this would be?
It would be Sha, Chembu, She.
Very good.
Thank you.
So
just a question. When you pronounce, it's written Drangbu, but it sounds to me that the first syllable you pronounce not Dre, but like they.
Yeah, that's
they or
you have
something.
a very sharp ear, I've noticed. So this is the way we would write it in English, but honestly, that's not the way it sounds. We're going to cover this. I'll just show you quickly here because this is a really important point. Oops, sorry. I need to shift the. Oh, I don't know why this is not. Can you guys see still the same text, right?
Yes. Not anymore though.
Not anymore. Let me find
A
it.
moment ago.
Yeah. Let me find our normal book. Okay.
Yes.
So there is we're going to learn this. I'm just gonna mention it briefly. So there are some rules. So when we have the ra on the bottom, it changes the sound. So in English, there's no other way to write it. So we would have to write dr, and it sounds like a dre, but it's actually the tip of the tongue goes up, da, j, j.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded strange to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Now
yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, but just so you
Yeah,
know,
okay.
that's what it is. Okay, we will cover
Yep.
this later, so don't worry. But is there
Great.
in our book?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, we are talking a lot. So I will just mention this because I wanted to at least introduce this concept. We will go over this more in the next class, but I wanted to cover a little bit of the head letters today. So basically, I would like you guys to think about it in this way, okay? There is a root letter. Imagine like a mandala, you know? Like there is a center and there is things around. The word for mandala in Tibetan is kilkor. Kil means center, kor means around. Okay? So you can think of it as a kilkor. So in the center is the root letter. This is the thing like we are going to pronounce. This is the actual thing we're going to pronounce. Okay? And then around are things that they might modify the vowel and they might add a little bit of a sound here and there, or most of the time they will be silent actually. But the key thing that we're pronouncing is the root letter, okay, in the center. So it's just like that. When we read Tibetan syllables, basically we look and we identify the root, and after that we put everything together and we know how to pronounce it. So it's basically like little mandalas. Each, for example, if we were to see this prayer, like this is its own mandala divided by the tzek. This is its own mandala. This is its own mandala. This one, this one, this one, like that. You know, think about it in this way. I mean, I think this is a useful way to conceptually understand it. So that being the case, this is a really complex mandala. This is as complex as it gets. So that's why it's taken as an example. So in this case, this is the root letter here. This is what we're going to pronounce. There is a prefix letter. So on our mandala, there can be something in 4 directions, okay? The mandala has 4 directions, okay? So if it's to the, okay, let's say if we're looking at a map, okay? If it's to the east, meaning before, then it's called a prefix. If it's to the north, it can be actually not necessarily a vowel. It can be a head letter because the vowel can be on the top or the bottom, right? We know. There could be an arrow or a shapyu. So the vowel could be north or south. We're not sure. But to the north is going to be our head letter. In this case, this is a head letter. I think they put superscribed letter. I use the word head letter in the book, but it's the same thing. So to the east, we have a prefix. To the north, we have a head letter. To the west, we have a suffix. These are the suffix. And to the south, we have our, in this case, this little line is, because we recognize this letter by itself, right? Is that Ga.
Yeah.
But there is this little thing attached, so that's a southern attachment. That's called as subscribed letter. So that's the, and then actually in the west, unfortunately, we also could have this extra one called the secondary suffix, but it's only 1 letter and it doesn't do anything to the pronunciation. So and every time you see this, actually it's easier to read because then you know automatically where the root letter is. Okay, is that clear?
I just have so I have a question about so this superscribed letter, which you said, so number 8 there, which is a head letter. So that is in, so for that head letter, why in that mandala, so between those two texts, so I guess those last two characters are why isn't that head letter sitting on the north? Why is it in the prefix position?
I'm sorry, are we talking about this one or this one?
That the one you're on, the second one.
That's one, okay. Why the head letter is where? I didn't get the question.
Why is it in the prefix position instead of sitting on top at the north if it's the head letter?
It is on top. This is the root,
Oh.
and this is the head, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There is no, in this case, there is no prefix.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
some
see.
of the
Okay.
elements, our mandala is not always complete. Our mandala could be just the center, you know? For example, like I said, this is just also, we can say this is a mandala, but it's just by itself is Sha. It can have meaning just by itself also. So we don't always have to have all the elements. But if it was full, this is a full one, for example. This has all the elements. It has a prefix. Actually, no, it doesn't have all the elements. It's missing the superscript letter, but it has all the rest. This one has the head letter. So this is the root in this case. Ta is the root. And then, yeah, the root is down here. So then this is the superscript. This is the vowel. This is the suffix.
I see. Thank you.
Yep. So I'm going to make a chart out of what I just explained, by the way, once we reach, because I will, after we learn all the parts, like there's a little bit of different rules for the prefixes and all the parts. There's like only some letters can be prefix, only some letters can be head letters. And they affect the vowel a little bit differently. So basically that's the next few classes. This is what we're going to be working on, like how the parts around affect the center of the mandala in this case, how these other letters affect the root letter. This is all for the sake of pronouncing properly. When I was learning Tibetan, I spent, I think, 2 months or so only learning how to pronounce. I did not put any effort into learning any vocabulary. I'm throwing a few words here and there for you, like Sha means meat, Sa means earth, just to plant some seed in your brain. But don't worry about the meaning so much for now. And since I did that, actually, when I came to Nepal and I was speaking a little bit with Tibetans after I learned a few words, people were saying, "Oh, wow, you sound good," you know. And then I realized, oh, it's because I actually spent all that time only focusing on how to make the sound. And then people understand you, you know, because then I had these other friends who they came and they right away learned words, but they were like pronouncing them as if they were speaking English. And there's these people who actually they don't even know. Some people say, "Oh, I don't want to learn how to read. I'm just going to learn the words. I just want to learn how to speak." I mean, that's possible, but I mean, unless you have a really sharp ear, like Federico's, maybe. But if you just go for it, you sound so bad because you don't because by means of understanding the way that it's a little bit like reading music, actually. I don't know if you guys play music, like you have to learn how to read it, because in a way our instrument is the inside of our mouth. So there's a tone also. Actually, I studied music in college, so that's why like somehow like it helped me a little bit. I'm imagining, like if I go to a puja, I used to imagine, okay, I'm reading the sheet music now, and then the instrument is the inside of my mouth, because there's a tone, and there's also, to make these sounds, we have to place our tongue in some weird places that we're not used to when we're native English speakers. And that's just the way it is. Like we have to learn some kind of muscle memory, motor something. I forget the word, but you know what I mean. you have to learn all these new ways to put your tongue in a different place, and you have to aspirate or non-aspirate. There's all these elements, that have to come together. So what I am proposing is I am proposing that we focus on just this part for now, just how to make the sounds. And for that, the key is the foundation is to know this by heart, That's why I'm really like drilling this into you guys. Just memorize this for now. Later, if you know this, because later on, if I tell you, oh, the head letter, we have 3 head letters, so then you know also which symbol is what and how it affects it. Like if at that point you're still unsure of what letter is what, is really going to slow us down, to make the progress. So this is why this is so important. And by the way, I fixed this. James was pronouncing this guy, and I felt so bad. I was like, wow, that's my mistake. Actually, I should have changed this. So now I put cha, cha. So for this, I put an extra H. So to distinguish them, and because there is a little bit more air coming out. Okay. Thank you, James. By the way, that was my fault. I didn't really look carefully.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, like our textbook is constantly evolving. So if there is anything that you guys see that is not useful, you can tell me, and then we can fix it and make it nicer.
I do have one quick question. Could you, how do you distinguish between high, middle, and low?
In terms of tone, so I can say, actually, I'll say it like this, okay? Oh, high, middle, and low in terms of pitch.
Yeah.
So ka, sha, ra, sha. There's a little bit more like a sha. It's almost like you're running out of air. Sha. Actually, there is an example here that I just wrote last night in our newest version that goes over this. Okay, so actually, this is more about duration of. Yeah, actually, this is something else. I'll go over this later. I'm gonna confuse you if I say that now. Never mind. But basically, ka, ka, low is sha, sa, and middle, you can say just ra, la. It's more like a flat ra, ra. Whereas for this, I would say ga. There's a little bit like ga. There's this sense of like the sound is ga. Ka is just ka, ka, ka. This is like short and sweet, or like ka, ka. It's like going up, These are more like flat. Ra, la, za, pa. There's this like word. It's not so. When you hear the Tibetan speak, it's not so obvious. There is some. They're not even aware of this. Actually, when they learned, they didn't. Nobody told them, oh, this is high, this is low, this is like this. They naturally hear it, But because we are learning, we need to emphasize the difference, just to make it clear, For us, just in our brain, we have to make these conceptual boxes. So that's why I'm overly emphasizing, exaggerating them a little bit for the sake of us just really getting this point, of the distinction between them. Does that help, Chris?
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, okay, good. So basically, that's the importance of this. So this is a really nice, colorful chart. It reminds me of the chemistry periodic tables a little bit, somehow. So this chart is cool because it's color coded, and also I recommend memorizing also where the shape is. For me, at least, it was useful. Actually, it will be useful because what's going to happen next, just so you guys know, is that the way. Actually, I know we only have 5 minutes, but I'm just gonna drill through it because just briefly, we'll go over this again next class. So there is 3 head letters. Okay. only 3 of them, out of all these 30 symbols, only 3 can go on the top. Okay? And here they are. Ra, La, and Sa. Okay? And how do they affect the pronunciation? Actually, the head letters themselves are silent. You're never going to pronounce them. They don't make anything. So why are they there? For spelling purposes. If there is a Ra on the top or there is a Sa on the top, it will have a different meaning, even though the sound is the same. That's it. So that's the main thing. But however, it changes the tone. So for here is the key for pronunciation. They make the low pitch and middle pitch root letters into high pitch. And the high pitch letters are already high, so they just remain as they are. That's it. So basically it's like it's on the top, so it makes it go high. You can think of it that way. It makes everything go high. It's that simple. There's not much to it. That's it. You can just memorize that, If there is a head letter, if there is a superscribed letter, a head letter, it just makes everything go high. And if it's already high, it's already high. So that's it. There's not much to do. If it's a low pitch, then it makes it high. So we have a couple of examples here. Nga, which means I, right? Low tone. Nga, I. If it has a head letter, it becomes nga. Nga. And this means 5. Number 5. And actually, if there was a ra on the top, it would sound exactly the same. Nga. But it would mean drum. Nga means drum. Nga means 5. Nga means I. Nga. So that's why it's so important to memorize in columns. Like if we had not memorized this in columns, we would have to individually learn which one goes with which. This one and this one and this one. You have to memorize so many rules, Because we memorize this in columns, actually we are at an advantage. Because we know that, this column, they're all low tones. So that's why also not besides memorizing the names of the letters, it's very, very useful to memorize it in this grid, in this chart. Because as I just explained, the way that the letter, the way like our mandala, right? The way that the different parts of the mandala influence the center is gonna affect the tone. In this case, the tone is affected. Is that clear? Yeah. Are there any questions?
Just one. There are 2 minutes. Hopefully,
Yeah.
there will be enough time for it. There are 3 head letters,
Yes.
and it seems all of them affect the same way, right?
Yes. Yes.
So then the natural question that pops up, why are there 3 different ones? So, for example, what would be different if with this word that is 5 on top, it's not, I believe it's la at the moment, but suppose it's ra.
Yeah.
What would, yeah.
So if it's ra, the sound is the same. Actually, if it was ra on the top, it would mean drum.
Oh, it would be a different word,
It would be a
although it
different
will
word.
sound the same.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So that's why we need to spell them out loud sometimes. Like
Yep.
if you're debating, you say, "Oh, are you talking about 5 or are you talking on a drum?" So then you say, the way you spell out loud, you say tak, ra, tak. Tak means you're attaching it. So we would say ra, ngatak, attaching the nga,
Mhm.
ra ngatak nga. So then is drum. But if I say la,
Mhm.
la nga tak nga, oh, it's 5. So you're spelling it out loud.
Mhm.
And
Makes sense.
just as a side note, it seems that in the past all these letters were pronounced in ancient Tibetan. Somehow over time they were dropped. Because,
Oh.
for example, in a place like Ladakh, they say, my friend's name is Deki. This is a popular name in Tibetan, Deki. De means dewa, like happy. Ki also means happy. It's like happy, happy, something like that, you know. Deki. But in Ladakh, she's Ladakhi, so she's called Desket. Desket. Because there is a sa head letter there. So the Ladakis kept, the Ladakis pronounce those.
Oh, so yeah, I see. Some dialects would still
Yeah.
pronounce it. I see.
Exactly.
Okay.
They preserve them. So it seems in the past all these things were pronounced, but now over time they've been dropped. Yeah. So for example, I hear some Kampa lamas when they talk about impermanence. Impermanence is mitakpa. Usually we just say mitakpa. That tak has a ra on the top. And I hear them say mirtakpa. Mirtakpa. For stupa, the word is chuten. I also hear some dialects say churten, churten. Maybe you guys have seen it spelled like that. That ra is a head letter on the ta. Churten, chuten. But anyways, guys, we are out of time
Interesting.
for this session.
I do have a quick question for
yeah,
our
go
next class.
Yes.
I probably won't be able to make the next two because of the timing.
Yeah, it's okay. I will send the recordings anyways. Just keep up
Okay.
the memorizing and all. Do keep up with the classes because they will be cumulative, cumulative. So if we get behind, then it'll be difficult to catch up. I'll try to do my best explaining, and that's why also I am recording the videos. Okay. And if you have any questions about the class, even though you're not there, you can also email me the question. It's okay. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll do our dedication. I'm going to do just that short line. You guys can have it handy nearby you because it's good to memorize, I guess. Sanamdi tamje sikpani tomne nyepe ranam panche jegana chiba lon trupai si petsole dowato show. Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.